And this next individual overrides many senior vice presidents. Over 500,000 customers in his organization. And it was so needed that I was growing in ACN to realize some of my upline. And we become very good friends. He's an incredible individual and just really the guy that because of him, all the Empire team exists. And so to have him come up here and train on a topic that is key to being successful in our industry from a guy that just knows how to go out and do it. And I love his story because I could relate to his. You know, he had that fear of public speaking, and I had the same problem when I joined this company. And I went back to just doing the things that you don't like to do. If you just do them, you'll be successful. There's always a payback. And so I love the story of this individual. I love this guy to death. We always call him the grandfather of our business because of who he is. He's an incredible, incredible individual. You'll see what I mean when he comes up here. Be prepared to just understand how to go build your business the right way through this very, very key and important topic. He's an amazing regional vice president. Please welcome to the front of the stage, Mr. Al Saggese.
Am I on? Okay. How's everyone doing? Before I get started with my part, I want to hand it back to Mr. Kurt Ludlow for doing the last part of our training. Kurt, if you're working with him, I'm going to tell you, I mean, true champion in our company, has been with ACN a relatively short time and has actually ran not only to the ranks of regional vice president, but is now a Circle of Champions member, which is, those are people that are handpicked by the owners each year to make decisions on where the company goes. I mean, very, very prestigious position to be in, and actually ran his way up to that position in our company. So please give him a hand one more time for all of his efforts. Now, see, they saved me towards the end, because they saved the best for last. Isn't that right? Now, I'm going to talk to you guys about something that I think is very, very important, which is promoting events. And this is a leadership training, so I'm going to talk to everyone in the room here as leaders. Is that okay? Now, understand, I mean, in our weekly events or Saturday trainings or regional events, we usually talk about, you know, we promote the event, we kind of create a reason why people should go to the events. But in a leadership training, I want to just talk to you guys about why we promote the events, the psychology behind the events, and what you're ultimately trying to do. Okay, so understand, because this is really the name of the game, is promoting events. And if you're brand new to ACN, you know, you're going to learn through your experiences. But if you just take my word for what, you know, take my word for it and kind of listen and absorb and internalize what we're going to go over right now, this will save you a lot of time. You want to save some time? Go through less pain as you go through your growth and your experience in our company. This is the name of the game. Because here's what we're ultimately doing. If you really break it all down, everything we do leads up to the events. Okay? In other words, what you're trying to create is a team. You know, this is a networking business. So you're trying to create a network. You know, you're trying to create a gigantic organization, a large organization to service a volume amount of customers. Now, you know, in our presentations we talk about that you can sell your position. You know, you can sell it and you can will it. You know, don't we talk about that? Okay, now the point is that the value of your organization, one of the many values, you know, not only the billing that you have, what you override, you know, the more you're overriding, the more value there is to your team that you could sell potentially. You know, so the point is that one of the values is the active reps in your group. And what the events do is build all of our organizations, because the events, let me first off show you I'll go to the slides, what the events are. Now here are all the ACN, first off, just a quote from Tony Kupas. If you just get good at promoting events, you can become a regional vice president. Okay, quote from one of the co-founders of our company. And you won't really, no, understand, that is such a true statement, because the events will build your team, will build your income. Now let's go over what all the events are in ACN. Now here are all the events. Every one of these listed here are considered events in our company. Conference calls, three-way calls, two-on-ones, PBRs, weekly meetings, Saturday trainings, regionals, leaderships, and the international training. And as you can see, there's smaller steps leading up to bigger steps. And what you have to think of if you're brand new, okay, now you got to really understand how we're going to cover this and why it's important. But this is our process. This is the ACN process, okay? And you have to think of putting everyone that you're trying to recruit through the process. Because what you have to understand is isn't it true we don't report to an office, we don't go somewhere 9 to 5, right? We don't work 40 hours a week, we don't punch a clock. You know, those are all reasons why you get an ACN, is to not have a set schedule, is to not have to drive somewhere every day and report to an office building. Okay, so what's in place of that, because this is still a business, so what's in place of having to do that are the events. Okay, this is what's in place of having a building and having to report somewhere 40 hours a week. So these events will basically not only build your business, but sustain your business long term. And the measuring stick of your organization, whether it's growing or dying or staying the same, is the national training event. Now, if you've never been to a national training event, that is the measuring stick of our entire organization. Now, what I mean by that is this. Based on how many people you have at the national training event is the way you can judge whether your personal organization is growing, dying, or staying the same. And that's how you build your business. You build your business from national event to national event to national event, and judging whether your organization is growing or not through the people that show up at the national event from your personal organization. Now, let me just tell you, I'm going to lay something down, whether you believe it or not if you're new, but this is the truth, okay, about ACN, about building a team. If you work, because the national events are about 4 or 5 months in between each other, and understand if you work the business, and let's say you recruit people over a 4 or 5 month period, and then you go to the national event by yourself, you've wasted your time. You've wasted your time. Okay? And what I mean by that is that, the idea, the whole reason why we're working 4 or 5 months out of our year building ACN is getting people to the national training event. Now, the reason why the national training event is so important is because when people get an ACN, it's a $499 decision in their life. So what you have to understand is that when someone pays $499 to get started, they're really not committed to the business. They really don't understand everything the first time you see it. Isn't that true? Okay? And what happens is that people don't commit right away because it's only a $499 decision. It's easy to walk away from a $500 decision in their life. So that's why some people quit, sometimes right away. Some people last 30 days and they decide that it's not worth their time. And the reason why they think that, the reason why that they come up with that conclusion is because they really don't understand the potential about what this could be for them. They really don't kind of see themselves as one of the leaders in our company just yet when they're brand new. They really don't understand how to make any money or how to make any kind of significant money in our company. And some people miss the boat just because they just didn't take enough time to understand anything. Does that make sense? And the thing is that ACN is not something you have to do. It's not something you have to do. It's something you should do. Okay? And that's also a reason why people decide, life gets in the way, people get knocked out of the box, because it's something they really don't have to do. And what's amazing is people will go to a job and work their entire life and try to just maintain their lifestyle by working 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week and fight traffic every day of their life, and they won't take 3 or 4 years and commit to what we're trying to build. And that's because, think about your job, if you have a job right now or a career, and think about the day you just really didn't feel like going to work. And, people do that because they have to, because if they don't go to work, they can't pay their bills, or they might get fired, or their family is at stake. And what you have to do is you have to make ACN, instead of it being a should, it needs to be a have to. I'll tell you what happened to me. I was doing construction work. I stopped doing construction work as a team coordinator. And I was making great money in construction, and I was a team coordinator, and I committed myself to ACN because I really wanted the lifestyle that the regional vice presidents led. And when you go to an event, not only do you see people getting promoted to the higher positions, team coordinator, regional vice president, senior vice president, so when you go to events, you also kind of see that it's working, that the system works. And I stopped doing construction as a team coordinator. And it was a lot less potential back in those days. And I'm going to tell you something, when I actually did that, I'm not saying that you should quit your job, I'm not saying that at all, but what happened to me is that I had no choice but to go forward. ACN became something I had to do because I made that step to be full-time. I made that commitment to be a regional vice president. And understand, when I stopped doing construction, where I was making a huge income, I had no choice but to go regional vice president. And understand, people usually, the majority of the population don't live in the should. Most people live in the have to. Okay, you only do things when you have to. You pay the bill when you have to. Isn't that right? Credit card companies make all of their money based on you not paying your bill. Isn't that right? You should pay your bill on time, but they make more money because people don't do what they should do. They do what they have to do. Even cars, when you buy a car, the car dealership, they make very little money when you actually buy the car. They make 80% of the money they make on you on not paying your bill late, and interest payments. In fact, they make 90% of a car is based on the interest and the late payments for the profit for the car company. So the point is this, you got to live in the have to. You got to make ACN a have to. And that's really the difference of someone becoming a leader in our company and someone not. It's based on your desire and your work ethic and your commitment to what we're trying to build. Now, what these events do is they build an understanding, okay, and what we're doing. Understand, with education and understanding, things become clear, clarity. And let me just put this all up here. Understand what you're trying to do is build your team. If you've worked 4 or 5 months and you go to the national event and you're there by yourself, you wasted 4 or 5 months of your life. You wasted 4 or 5 months of working. Okay, you could just take all 4 or 5 months that you just worked. I don't know how hard. People work very hard and they go to the national by themselves. You've wasted your time. You've wasted your efforts. That's not what you're trying to build. Understand, people think when you first get involved, people always think it's about the $4.99. Isn't that true? Oh, it's just about me paying my $4.99. I don't want $4.99 from people. I don't want your $4.99. I want your commitment. I want you to work with me long term. I want you to be a leader in my team. You understand? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for partners. But people, their first perception of the business is that it's all about their $500. And it's amazing to me sometimes when you see that happen, because you know what's going through the prospect's head. Oh, I want you to take my $4.99. And what's amazing is they don't realize how much more the leader is committed to that new prospect than they are to the business. Isn't that right? I look at people sometimes and I think to myself, as they're deciding whether to give me their $499, I think to myself, man, this is so crazy. I'm like, after this guy pays his money, that he's deciding whether he wants to, part with his $4.99, thinking that that's all I'm looking for is his $4.99. And I know what's going through his head. He thinks I'm going to that he's going to lose $500 or whatever his thing's going on in his mind. And I say to myself, think about this. He signs up. What do I have to do? I have to now drive all over town, okay, in my car, in my suit, and I have to drive all over town to meet everybody he knows. Okay? I got to get on the phone and talk to everybody he knows. I got to help him get qualified, help him get points. I got to train him. Okay? And he's worried about giving me $500. Okay? Let me ask you a question. Okay? If you're already in ACN, you already paid your $4.99. But think about how ridiculous this is. Okay, knowing what you know now about the business, if one of the senior vice presidents or regional vice presidents said, I'm going to partner with you, we're going to build this together, I'm going to train you on everything I know, but I need another $500, how many people would do it? So the point is that it's amazing when you meet new prospects how that's like a problem, you know? So understand, listen. You're trying to build real estate in the room. That's what you're trying to build ultimately. That's all you should be concerned with. Everything else that you want to learn about ACN, you learn on the way. But here's the idea. You want to build real estate in the room. How much real estate do you own in the room? Listen, at the weekly meeting, how many rows of people are from your team? That's what you should be concerned with. At the national event, how many people did you have at the last national event? How many people are you going to have at the next national event? How many rows are you going to fill up from people from your team? How big of a network do you want to build? You know, how much money do you want to make? Based on how much money you want to make, you should be filling up the chairs with the people on your team. And understand, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk to everybody in the room, like I mentioned when we started, as leaders. If you are a leader, let me tell you what your job is. Your job is not to collect $500 donations. Okay? Your job is to get everyone on your team through the process. Okay? Your job as a leader is to get everyone through the process. Now, let me tell you something very important. If you go to a national, let's say you recruited some people in your team, and you go to a national training event, and you're there by yourself, let's just say. You have, let me tell you straight up, okay, as a leader in our company, the people you recruited, you have failed them as a leader. You have failed the people that have joined your team if you go to the national without them. Because understand something, listen, commitment only happens over time. Okay? People don't commit right away. They don't commit after they sign up for $4.99. They don't commit after they go to a weekly meeting. They commit after they've gone through the process. Your job is to put everyone through the process. When people come out of the national event, okay, here's how you work your business. People come out of the national, if they quit after that, you did your job. You can feel confident that you did everything you were supposed to do. But if you go to the national and people on your team are not there, you've completely, hands down, have failed those people. So, that process is the machine of our company. That's the machine. The idea is to put people through the machine. You're constantly feeding people through the machine. Every time you go to an event, it's like you're refueling the car. Was that me? Okay, you're refueling the car. You're refueling your organization. Now let's talk about the weekly meeting. Now, at the weekly meeting, your team is going to get refueled because you got to keep fuel in the tank for the car to keep going. Isn't that right? So your car is basically, it's your organization is what I mean by your car in ACN. And at the weekly meeting, they're going to get refueled, they're going to refocus, because understand, here's what happens at the weekly meeting. Every event feeds each other. The weekly meeting feeds the Saturday training. The Saturday training feeds the regional events. The regional events feed the leadership feeds the national. That's the machine of ACN. How many people are you putting through the machine, right? Now, when you go to the weekly meeting, here's what happens. Now, I'm going to stand. Your commitment is to go to the weekly meeting once a week. Whatever weekly meeting that you're supporting, that is your commitment. I don't care if you have guests. I don't care if you don't have guests. That's not the point. Listen, if you don't have a guest, you need to be at the weekly meeting. Because what happens at the weekly meeting? Listen, the only reason why people don't like going, people say, like, you know, I've seen this before. I've seen this 10 times. Let me ask you a question. How many times have I seen this? I've seen this 10 times already. Really? I've seen it 10,000 times. Okay? Okay, how many times have I said it? Listen, it's no fun. Listen, it was fun saying it the first 5 years. Okay, but sometimes it's like Groundhog's Day. You know? It's like Groundhog's Day. You know the movie Groundhog's Day where the guy keeps reliving the same day? Okay, how'd you like, talk to me in 15 years. Okay, so the point is that the idea is if when you go to the weekly meeting and you don't have a guest, doesn't that bother you? That's why you have to go. That's why you should be there, because it should bother you. And here's the point. If you go to the weekly meeting without a guest, what do you see at the weekly meeting? You see the presentation again. It reminds you of why you got involved. Okay? It reminds you of what you committed to build. Don't you see at the weekly meeting people getting promoted? Okay? When you see people getting promoted on other people's teams and nothing's happening in yours, does that bother you? It should. That's the reason to go. And understand also, here's the point. If you know the business so well that you've seen the presentation so many times that you understand that, you know what, maybe you should do the presentation next week. Okay? No, I've seen this 10 times. Oh, you know that? Okay, then I'll sit in the seat and you can present. Okay? So the point is that you want to listen, if you internalize the information, listen, every single person you hear from the front of this room has just repeated what they've heard 1,000 times. There's not an original idea coming from the front of this room. Okay? You understand? Every single one of us has learned from the people before us. So that's your job. Your job is to not only listen to it 10 times, your job is to internalize the information. Now, isn't it great when you go to the weekly meeting, if you don't have a guest, you can help other people with their guests. Get involved. Be part of the solution. Be part of the support system. I'm going to tell you, when I first got an ACN, and the meeting would break, man, I didn't want to talk to guests when I was brand new. People are going to ask me questions. I'm not going to have answers. That's the idea. You're sharpening your axe. You're learning the business. You have to be able to articulate, the answers to the questions. Isn't that true? So, every single person that hits a regional or senior vice president position has just taken the time to learn. It's amazing how people don't even take the time to learn. People go to school, go to college for years. And how much do you spend on a college education? People spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a college education. Right? You go to a 2-year or 4-year college. 4 years of your life. How many hours in a week do you attend classes? And then you come out of college, and what do most people do? They get an entry-level job. In fact, people that didn't go to college sometimes, are 4 years ahead of you. Right? And how many people, the majority of the people that go and get a college education don't even get a job in what they studied for. Right? And here's the point. what's amazing is that they'll go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, not $499, but hundreds of thousands of dollars, get into debt, come out and get an entry-level job, but they'll spend 4 years learning that, and they won't take 4 months and learn what we're doing. Or when a weekly meeting comes up, I didn't have a guest this week, I didn't go. If you're looking for ACN to be the answer for yourself, financially, for the rest of your life, and for your family, don't you think that you need to commit to what we're doing at some level? Understand that no one has created anything great in anything, whether it's a business or a career or a sport, unless they've committed themselves. You understand? Let me tell you, that's the answer to the ACN test, is you have to basically be 100% committed to what we're doing, and you'll achieve the positions and the income. But the problem is that a lot of people are just not as committed as they should be. A weekly meeting comes up and they're busy. A Saturday training comes up and you know what, I was there last week, I'm just, it's the same thing, right? You understand, if that's going through your mind, you're on your way out the door. Okay, you understand, you're on your way out. Stop wasting your time. Just stop now. Because, listen, I would rather go to a weekly meeting for an hour or two and hear the same thing over and over and over like I've been doing for how many years, than have to go somewhere 40 hours a week and then fight traffic every day of my life. Don't you think that a couple of hours a week hearing the same thing over and over is a little bit better of a choice? What would you rather say? I fight traffic every day. I work somewhere 8, 10, 12 hours a day, 40 to 60 hours a week, and I'm getting old doing it. Or would you rather say, yeah, I go to this hotel or this office and I hear the same thing twice a week. Okay? And if I hear it one more time, I'm going to go crazy, but that's what I do for a living. Okay? That's the bad part about ACN, is that it's the same thing over and over and over again. You understand? So understand, don't get frustrated or get upset because it's the same thing over and over again. Be happy about that. Be happy if that's all you had to do for the rest of your life. Okay? So now now understand, the gas pump is the weekly meeting. That's going to keep the car going. But each event, the bigger events you bring your team to, they're going to get more fueled up. So the regional events is like you're filling your team up with a tanker truck, okay? And then when you go to the national event, you got to keep your team on full, okay? When your team is on empty is when you hear the excuses. Isn't that right? The excuses come up. Well, I can't go this week because of this, or I got something else planned, or when people major sometimes in excuseology. Okay? Now the reason why they have excuses is because their tank is on empty. Their tank is on empty. Now, didn't you guys get fueled up just from being here this weekend? Because understand, it's not just about inspiration. It's not just about getting excited. It's about learning. It's about understanding. It's about internalizing. It's about, hey, I've learned some great things this weekend that I can apply, and I could impact my life. I could impact my income based on what I've learned this weekend. That's what I mean by getting fueled up. It's not just about the excitement. It's based on what you learn. So your job as a leader is to keep your team on full. Keep the needle up to F, right? Because you are the guy with the gas pump. Okay, you're the guy, you're the leader fueling up your team. Are you fueling up your team this week to make sure they get to the next week? Because understand also, when you go to the weekly meeting, don't people refocus on what they're trying to achieve? That's the idea. See, at the weekly meeting is when you set the following week up. You're setting your strategy up to accomplish something in ACN the following week before the next weekly meeting comes up. That's a reason why to go, is to refocus your efforts. You know, when life gets in the way, you need to be at the weekly meeting so you can refocus on what you're trying to achieve. Okay? You got to be the guy moving the needle over to F. Okay? Because otherwise you won't make any money. Because here's what you ultimately are trying to do. Okay? All of this process is for enrollment. Okay? Enrollment is the name of the game. Enrollment means, is that process, all those steps, enroll people into committing to our business. Okay? So your job as a leader is to put people through the process, because what you're doing, because I want you to understand what you're doing with your team, is you're enrolling them. You're enrolling them in the vision and the potential of our company. And enrollment doesn't happen right away. It happens over a period of time. Okay? And the idea is you put people through the steps, they get an understanding of the business, they acquire knowledge, they can see themselves making money, they understand how the compensation plan works, they can see the potential of the national events. How many people have been to a national event before? Okay? Don't you really see the company at those events? Okay? So understand, you need to know, especially at a national event, what happens if you've never been to a national event. You hear from the owners of the company, you learn from all the senior and regional vice presidents, you see people getting promoted to regional vice president, and what it does, it conveys not only the strength of our business, but it shows. I'm going to tell you what happened to me when I went to my first national event, and I saw people. There was 9 regional vice president promotions at my first national event, and I learned a lot. Information is great, education is great, but when you see people just like you and me, that are now getting promoted to regional vice president, and you hear their stories of where they came from and their experience as they went through the ranks of the company and how the business has impacted their lives, I mean, that's when I personally committed to really doing this. Because I'm going to tell you, before the national event, yeah, I was in, but I wasn't really in, you know. I was in ACN, but ACN was not in me. And when I went to the national event and I saw all these people getting promoted, and I said, wow, I mean, these people, I made money, but these people have freedom. You know, these people can do whatever they want every day. These people have time, you know, where they don't have to fight traffic every day. They don't have to report somewhere. They have no overhead. Imagine having a business where you can make such a gigantic income and have no overhead. No exposure, no risk, no payroll, no taxes. You know, I mean, that's huge to be able to compete around the world with services and develop an income that comes into your mailbox, whether you get out of bed or not, and have zero responsibility, is something everyone would look for. And the reason why people decide to quit is they just didn't take enough time to learn. Does that make sense? Because listen, if you learned how to make $1 million, you would do it. Isn't that true? I mean, the point is people quit because they just didn't take enough time to learn how to make any kind of significant money in our company. Because I'll tell you what happened to me when I was doing construction. My background was general contracting. So when I was a general contractor, I'll tell you that people don't see the road you took to get to the regional vice president. They see the result, they don't see the road. And I'm not someone that ran to the ranks of regional vice president and it happened so easy for me. Because honestly, I'm going to tell you, everybody in this room, everyone that struggles, everyone feels like when they struggle, it's only happening to them. Nobody else is going through this but me. Okay, what message am I supposed to learn from this? Maybe this is not for me. Maybe this shouldn't be for me. Understand the difference between someone achieving huge success or quitting is based on how you handle adversity. You know, when there's something in the road, it's how you handle it that makes the difference. It creates or makes the person quit or makes the person get over the obstacle and achieve the top position. So it's based on how you handle things that will make or break you in the business. You have to expect that things are not going to go 100% right all the time. And what happened to me was I was not having the success that I wanted in the business, and I had to make a decision. I had to decide whether to quit or not. And I was going to quit. I was thinking about quitting. I'm like, man, this is rough. I'm going through some rough times. Maybe this is not for me. And everyone has this conversation at some point. Okay? If you think ACN is all going to be sunshine and rainbows, okay, somebody lied to you. Okay? Listen, this is business. You're going to have good days and bad days. You have good days and bad days in everything. There's not a company in the world that only has good days, right? Okay? So the point is this. I actually thought about it and I weighed my options. And I said, all right, what if I quit? What if I stop this already? And I said, well, I can go back to construction work. It's what I know. There's some safety in what you know, right? There's security in going back to what you know. There's insecurity when you have to do something that's unknown, that's foreign to you. Isn't that right? And sometimes people, they run back to what's comfortable. Comfortability is very, very important. People hate to be uncomfortable. And there's no growth when you're comfortable. You only grow as a person when you're uncomfortable. You understand that? You know, you need to want to be uncomfortable because that's when you grow. That's when you become more. You know, understand, talking in front of the room, won't believe it. I know people don't believe it, but this was my biggest fear was speaking in front of the room. When I got promoted to team coordinator, I could not sleep the night before because I had to do a testimonial when I got promoted to team coordinator. Okay? I swear. I mean, I used to it was the worst thing in the world to get up in front of the room and talk. And I'm like, I'll do the business, but I never want to do that. I used to say that all the time. And when I was in college, I wouldn't even go, when I had to do a report in front of the class in school, I couldn't even do that. I had to go after the class was over and asked to do it with nobody around. Okay? And it's amazing. This is what I do for a living now. So the point is that you have to, when I was weighing my options to decide whether to do this or not, I thought, you know what, I was about to run back to construction, but I thought, you know what, when I go to these events and I go to the national and I see people getting promoted, obviously this works. The problem is I'm just not working in this. I guess I need to go through some personal growth to be able to develop myself to learn how to do this effectively. What am I doing wrong? Because a lot of times, you know, don't people point the finger when things aren't working out? It's never them. It's always everybody else, right? So, and I thought about it. I said, you know, what would my life be like if I did construction? And I thought, you know what? I made great money in construction, but it would be 7 o'clock in the morning, 5 or 6 days a week, late nights, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, payroll, overhead, you know, I mean, lots of problems when you're running a company. And, you know, like I said, I have 15 employees, and it was constant turmoil. And I thought, you know what, I'll make money, but I have to be comfortable about working so many hours a week, every single week for the rest of my life. And I said, or I can get over the part of ACN that's making me uncomfortable, and I could maybe grow as a person and become more or better at who I'm trying to be, become like the people that I see in front of the room, right? And what would my life look like if I just went through the growth and the pain of, you know, what I needed to go through? And I said, wow, imagine if all I had to do was get dressed up in a suit and look good in front of the room, in front of a bunch of people trying to impact their lives, and speak for an hour or two a week at an event, and everyone tells me I'm great. Now, I mean, you know, in ACN you're great. You go outside, nobody knows who you are, right? But the point is this, okay? It's like this. What would you choose? You know, what would you choose? And it's available for every single person in the room. It's just based on, you know, how committed you are. You know, how far do you want to go? How much money you want to make? What are you willing to do to get there? What are you willing to do to create a lifestyle where you never have to listen to an alarm clock ever again? Okay, you never have to fight traffic ever again. Would that be pretty good? And you could have everything life has to offer, all the great things, live in the right neighborhood and drive the car you always wanted to drive. I mean, those are pretty important things. You know, I thought I was put on this earth to do more than just pay bills every single month. You know, that's what what's amazing is that's what most people do. The majority of the population work the majority of their life just to maintain their lifestyle, just to pay their bills, just to chase their tail. Isn't that true? And it's amazing is people will work 40 years and tell you you're crazy. They'll commit to something that's not paying them what they're worth for 40 years of their life, fight traffic their entire life, and tell you you're crazy, and they can't commit to this for 4 years. You know, can you work real hard for 4 years? I mean, gas and electric is going to be huge. It's going to be gigantic. And so let me just kind of talk to you guys about how to promote the events. Okay, of course we have great videos. We have so much support material today than we've ever had in ACN. I mean, all the support material, and the company does a tremendous job on creating and maintaining all of our support material. Wouldn't you guys agree with that? You know, we came from a time where, I mean, we didn't have tools like we have today. We don't, especially, I mean, if you're in California, there's more support in California than anywhere in the United States for ACN. There's so many leaders here. There's so many, I mean, tremendous leaders that have put on this event this weekend. Wouldn't you guys agree? I mean, there's a tremendous amount of support. It's a great environment to work in. Great environment to live in, because we all not only work together, we all live together. We're all friends at the same time as well. So I can't think of a better way to live than an environment where everybody wants you to win, everybody wants you to succeed, and everybody's willing to share the information to help you do the same thing. So your idea is when you're building a team and you want to build your network and you want to build real estate in the room. By the way, where is the time? Do I have any kind of time? I'm good? How far am I? Okay. 20 minutes? Okay, so we're going to get right to this right now. Okay, so the idea is when someone says that they can't go, it means that their tank is on empty. Okay, if someone says that something's in the way, that's your job, that's your moment to act. Now, what do? Okay, you have to reason with them of why it's important for them to come to the training. Listen, at the training, here's what we're going to learn. Let me tell you what's going to be gone over at the training event. At the training event, we're going to be covering this topic, that topic, the other topic. Now, don't people get in the business for their reason why? You should learn, the people on your team, their reason why they got involved. Okay? You understand, their reason why needs to be something larger than just money. Everybody wants to make money. If I said how many people in the room want to be rich, every hand would go up. But the problem is, it's what you're willing to do to get there is your reason why. You have to have a strong reason why. You have to have a level of desire to want to achieve the higher positions in the company. Because if it was easy to be rich, everyone would be rich. Isn't that right? And the hard is what makes the achievement great. That's why the achievement is so great, because it's hard. Okay? It's not easy to get rich. This is not get rich quick. It's based on you rising to the occasion. So the idea is when your people on your team, this is your moment to sharpen your axe. This is your moment to become better as a leader. Okay? What I mean by that is when someone says I can't go to the event, I say, hold on. Let's talk about this for a minute. Why can't you go to the event? Well, let me ask you a question. Leaders, listen. You know, you have 2 ears and you have one mouth. You should use them in that proportion. You know? So you should listen. Why can't you go to the event? Well, listen, let me ask you a question. Why did you get an ACN? Well, I got an ACN for this, this, and this. Well, what are you willing to do to make that happen? How important is it to you to create that in your life? Well, I want to get off my job. Well, listen, if you want to get off your job, let me ask you, does this make sense to you? If you want to get off your job and you want to be full-time, do you think that you should be at the training or you shouldn't be at the training? Okay? The point is that when you make sense to people, it's almost like they feel stupid not to go. Right? Well, listen, at this national event, you're going to see and hear from the owners of the company. We're about to launch gas and electric all over the United States. There's nothing bigger. It's the most profitable thing that's ever come into networking in the history of networking, and you don't have time to get trained? Listen, the senior and regional vice presidents from all of North America are flying to this convention center, this city, specifically to train new people. And if you're serious about creating something in your life and getting off your job and making this your full-time business, don't you think that maybe we should take some time, take a weekend to, all these people that are making the huge incomes are all coming to this weekend, but you're too busy. People that are making 7 figures a year all over North America through ACN are coming to this event to teach us, and you don't have the time. So I'm going to tell you, I mean, if you're serious, this is an opportunity that you can learn from the best of the company, the best of the best. I mean, the people that started and paid $4.99 and have gone through all the ranks, and they're going to teach all of us exactly what they did to hit the top positions in the company, and you're telling me you don't have any time. So understand, listen, also, now, if you get into, what you don't want to do is you don't want to get frustrated with people. If you're hitting a wall, you never want to get frustrated. Okay, you're there for just to reason with people. Okay, you don't want to go over the line. You don't want to cross the line with people. That's not your job. Okay, your job is to reason with them, to make them, create an understanding. You want to go up to the line, but you don't want to cross the line. Now, if you're new and maybe you don't have enough information or enough background or experience in really moving your people to the next event, you know what you're supposed to do then, right? That's what an upline is for. That's when your job is to reach up and to grab someone who has more experience, that has more knowledge, that has more of a grasp of the language to assist you. Listen, your upline team coordinators and regional vice presidents and senior vice presidents, they have achieved those positions because they have an understanding of our business. Now, isn't it great you can reach up and grab someone like that to help you build your income as you're learning the ropes? But a lot of the time, people don't realize they even can do that. Listen, all the people with the positions, for all the new people are the most important people in the room. The new people are the most important people in the room, and all the leadership will help the new people, will help you guys up, but you got to be able to learn, you got to learn how to use your upline properly. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to do a quick exercise. Could I get, because listen, we're going to all make some money. We're here to make some money. Okay, we're going to make some money right now. Okay? Is that my last slide? Where am I pointing this? Okay. No, go back one. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Could I get everyone in the first seat of each one of these rows just to stand up all the way back? Okay. Now, what I want to do is, starting at number 1, number 2, you just say out loud, loudly, a number. And just remember your number, because I'm numbering the rows, so everybody has a number of a row.
1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125
Okay, now ready? Everybody remember your rows. Here's what we're going to do. The rows go this way. So number one would be your whole team is through all the way to the end. Okay? And you the same way that way. Now there's some boxes on the side of the room. There's some empty boxes in the rows. I put some boxes there. There's come to empty pails in the middle. Here's what I want to do. Okay? We're going to do a pre-registration contest. Okay? We're going to get people registered for the national right now. Do a little bit of an exercise as we close out my segment of training. But what we're going to do is I want everybody to take out a couple of dollars, whatever you'd like to donate into the pot. $1, $2, $5, whatever you'd like to throw into the pot. Everyone pass it around, and understand, everyone take out at least $1 or more. Okay, the team coordinators, the regional vice presidents, you should throw in a few more dollars than just $1 or $2. Okay, and here's what we're going to do. Whatever team, in fact, let's do the money first, and I'll tell you the rules. Okay? Because, listen, one of the teams here in this room is going to leave with cash. So get prepared. We're going to do this right now. So real quick, pass the boxes around. Everyone, if you can grab the boxes on the side and the middle rows, empty boxes, bring the money up, pass it around, and bring the money up to the front of the room quickly. Is this enough cash? Now, understand something. Whatever number row you're in, there's your team. Both directions. Okay? So, everyone that has a number, make sure you account for everybody in your group. Now, here's what we're going to do. Everyone ready? Okay, all the team coordinators, I hope you all have copies, pre-registration forms. Okay, pre-registration forms. All right, we're going to be handing them out. All the TCs in the room should have the pre-registration forms. We're going to get people registered for the National. Now, it doesn't have to be just the people in this room. Okay, you can call people that are not here and get them registered as well. That will count for your team. Okay, and another thing is that make sure that there's payment has to be on the pre-registration form. Credit card has to be on the pre-registration form. Listen, energy is here. We're opening up all over the United States over the next 12 to 24 months. This is going to impact everyone involved. And this is, if you're new, this is your time. If this is your time, if you're serious about this, you wouldn't be here this weekend if you weren't serious. But if you want to really impact your business and make your business go to the next level so your team can explode, I'm going to tell you exactly how to go team coordinator. You want me to tell you exactly how to go team coordinator? You can write this down because this is a guarantee you'll be a team coordinator. To be a team coordinator, if someone hasn't already said it this weekend, you need to have double digits in 3 separate organizations at the National. Okay, let me say that again. You need to have double digits in 3 separate teams at the National event. And I guarantee you, 3 separate teams with at least 10 people, double digits. So at least 10 in 3 separate organizations. 10, 10, 10 minimum. You want to, of course, go do more. But if you have 10, 10, and 10 people on 3 separate teams at the National event, you'll be a team coordinator by the following National event. Okay? That's the goal. If you want to go TC, that's the goal. Everyone that has gone TC has done it that way. So you have to build a team, build a presence, build real estate in the room through the weekly events leading up to the National, and then you're going to have double digits at the National, and you'll be a TC. You'll be running on your way to be a TC after that National that you did that at, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Whatever team gets the most pre-registrations right now is going to leave with this cash, okay? You can divide it up, amongst the people participating. Make sure you guys all understand. Each team is going to leave with this money. So let's go to work right now. We're going to put some music on. Let's get pre-registrations filled out right now and bring the pre-registrations up to the front of the room. Bring it up. Just whatever your number is, and I'll read it off. Okay? How many? We got 4 for row 8. Okay. Someone collecting for the row? Someone's got to collect for your whole row. What row? Make sure you bring up. Okay, we have 8 for row 8 so far, so we got 4 for 19. 5 for row 8, for row 3.
Yeah, that's $1.
2 for 9. 2 for 16. Really? Hold on, don't mix these up. 6 for row 7. Row 7's in the lead right now.
5 for row 30.
5 for row 30. 4 for 32. 3 for 12. Row 12. 2 for 25.
Question for you. So row 17 and row 18, row 18 over there at the end, so they were line 17 and 18?
No, because nobody else did. 4 for 13. 2 for 14. Just one row is going to win. For 21, 1 for 21. Anyone else? Are we waiting for on any? All right, let's go. Oh, you need from 25? Six for 13. So 6 for 13. Hold on. Row 13 and row 7 are tied. So far. 2 for 25. Hey, 6, you have a pen? Okay. 2 for 2. 6 and 13 are tied. Do we have any more out there?
17.
Well, what's this? What row is this?
17.
How many total? 4. Okay. We have almost $800 in the pot.
13 for row 6.
Whoa, 13 for row 6. Row 13 is now in the lead. No, what's that? I'm sorry, row 6 is now in the lead, right? Row 6, we got 13 for 6.
All the money is here.
How many?
Now all the money is here. Now.
25? One. Okay. 13 for row 5. Row 5 and row 6 are now in the lead. 13 tied. 2 for row 9. Thank you. Hey, I wanted to tell you something. So I'm drawing a blank right now. I don't remember. I just had to tell you something like 5 minutes ago. 8 for 27.
18.
How many? 5 for row 18. Row 5 and row 6 are tied. Are we done? Are we finished? Seven for 21. 11. Oh, great. 11 for 20.
I pulled all the teeth I could.
That's great. Almost $800. 13. You're right there. Yeah, please write. Okay, we got row 20. Got 12 for 20. Okay, thank you. Row 5 and row 6 tied. Row 20 in second place.
Take 6 off row 6 and add it to row 7. They took it down. I'm positive.
What do you want me to do?
Row 7 and 6 more.
All right. All right.